Welcome back, aviation fans, to another episode of Imperial Diecast, and it's time we reviewed a Queen of the Skies again, this time in the iconic Air India livery from yesteryear. As you can see, it says Boeing 747-400 here at the bottom left of the box. Got the Herpa Wings logo, and here is a picture of the real plane. So this is not a picture of the model anymore. Looks pretty good. Now, this is Herpa catalog number 512091. And if we take a look at the back of the box, we've got the wingspan of 64.9 meters, a length of 70.7 meters, and a height of 19.4 meters. So let's unbox it. Now, I was able to get this for €6.80 plus shipping. So even though it's an OG model and has clunky landing gear, it is a 747, where that shouldn't matter too much. Anyway, we'll see. And here it is. The Air India 747-400 in 1/500 scale. The 747-100s, 200s, and 300s in Air India's fleet were named after Indian emperors, but the -400s were named after historical locations. This 747 right here was the first 400 variant that Air India added to its fleet in 1993, and it remained in service until 2009 and was scrapped in Bombay in 2011. So, what happened in 2009? Well, this plane, the VTESM Konark, was Air India Flight 829, an aircraft fire in September 2009 at Bombay's Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport, where a fuel leak caused engine number 1 to catch fire while the plane was taxiing and damaged the port side wing beyond repair, and so it was written off. Thankfully, everyone could evacuate and survive that incident. However, this model depicts the Konark several years earlier, when it was still painted in the old livery known as the Palace in the Sky, which is this one. The livery is still a little inaccurate though, because the bottom half of the aircraft here is painted in light grey. Now on the real Air India 747-400s, only the planes that were leased from other companies had the grey underbelly, while on the planes that were fully owned by Air India, it was brushed aluminum. Now, since that polished metal look wasn't available on older Herpa models, they could have painted it in matte silver instead, but painting it in grey is definitely a livery inaccuracy, because this is what the leased 747-400s looked like, and the Konark was fully owned by Air India. We'll start our review by taking a look at the port side of the aircraft at the L1 door, and you can see that it has a door lever, and right next to it, the porthole is also in the exact same frame as in all the other passenger windows, which is that of a palatial window. So that's one of the coolest things about the Air India livery that I always liked. Now, to the left of it, you can actually see here, if I can focus this, there you go, that it says Konark in Devanagari. Down here we have the aircraft type specification, got the Indian flag. Up here is the emergency exit door on the 747-400s, which I think was introduced in the 747-300 already. You can't board through this here though, it's just for emergencies, just like the emergency exit hatch for the pilots. Then of course we have the L2 door and Air India in the Hindi Devanagari script, written again here in red, which is also a lighter shade of red than the windows are. Not sure if it's like that on the real plane. But then we have the L2 door, and then we have the L3 door directly over the wing. We've got the L4 door and the L5 door of the Boeing 747. The registration is Victor Tango Echo Sierra Mike. And here is the Air India tail, which of course looks great in the old livery. However, you can notice that the horizontal stabilizers are metal, but the vertical stabilizer is made out of plastic. It does have the rudder engraved in it, though. As for the horizontal stabilizers, they do have the silver leading edge and a little bit of elevator detail, just like the main wings also do. So, if we now take a closer look at the wings of the plane, you can see that Herpa put a decent amount of detail to make the wings look nice. I mean, we've got the flaps, ailerons, air brakes, all the good stuff, and it's not covered by a thick layer of paint, although the wing is painted in a thin layer of gray, so that's nice. We've got the registration on the wing as well. The Dash 400 is known for its winglets, and they're here along with a miniature Air India triangle. We've got the nav lights as well, and if we take a look at the engines, these are supposed to represent Pratt & Whitney 4056s. They've got silver leading edges and a small Air India mascot printed onto the nacelles, as you can see here. It's kind of hard to focus on them though, but they're there. In terms of engine details, the interior isn't painted like in later Herpas, but you can see the fan blade detailing is visible. And while the wing has a silver leading edge, the slats are missing. And taking a look at the front of the plane, we can see that the radome is present. The cockpit windows, unfortunately, are just very plain ones. They don't have any kind of silver lining or wipers, but they still do manage to look like 747 windows, I think. And here's a look at the starboard side of the aircraft. And what is nice about this old Herpa model is that the cargo doors are carved, and they're not just simple squares, but they actually have a nice bit of detail going for them, which is nice. Also here on the back, you can see that this is an old Herpa model, so it has the clunky landing gear, but on a 747, I don't think it really matters all too much. As for the tail, unfortunately we don't have any kind of APU exhaust detailing here, and we instead get this sort of insert, which is the old way that the horizontal stabilizers used to be mounted into the fuselage. And now if we take a look at the bottom of the plane, you can see that we've got the Herpa logo here, and the trailing edge fairings, underwing registration as well. I was wrong when I said that there are no slats. They're actually modeled all the way down here, but they're not visible from the top. But yeah, it's a pretty decent looking model. Now for comparison, I have here a Boeing 707, which is also in 1/500 scale, but you can just see how massive the 747 is compared to the 707, which is also a quadjet. Yes, I know this is a Dash 400, but if you pretend the winglets don't exist and ignore the upper level emergency door, it could as well be a 747 from the 1970s. Which just goes to show how massive the technology leap was in the 1970s over the 1960s. This must have impressed people back in the day. No wonder it got the name Jumbo Jet. So I hope you guys liked my review of the 1/500 scale Boeing 747-400 in the old Air India livery. I think it's still a cool looking livery, and this is definitely one of the OG Herpas that has aged well. If you're interested in more Boeing reviews, you might as well check out some of my other ones here. Take care, have a wonderful day. This is Imperial Diecast, signing out.